the backdrop of the bookshelves like regular authors do.
I
Like
tried
I should
that.
do a backdrop of the snow we got today.
No, I
Or
think
maybe
your place is much better. Well, hello, Chloe. I'm Rachel from Ray K Books, and Katie is the middle icon right there. And so, hello, Chloe. You are right now going to be promoting your book, Greta and the Goblin King. So, can you please give us a synopsis on what that book is about?
uh, the quick and easy version is that Greta and the Goblin King is a YA fantasy. It's kind of a spin-off of Hansel and Gretel meets um, Alice in Wonderland with a little bit of that old 80s movie The Labyrinth thrown in for good measure.
Mhm.
Greta is a human girl who falls through a portal to another world, and everybody there hates humans and pretty much wants her dead.
Oh no.
Okay, and so is this basically? Did you are your characters based on Wonderland, or are they your own characters?
Um, the characters are very very loosely based on anybody. I think they started out to kind of want to take a life of their own.
Mhm.
So even though I may have had certain intentions going into it, they deviated and kept going. So they're definitely their very own people, and I don't think I could say that they take a character from any other story that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's good. So I was looking at the cover, and I thought that it was a great cover. I loved it. Who is the cover model?
I have no idea, but she is really pretty.
Yeah, she is. I was like, oh.
And you know what? I have to give the cover artist, who was also my editor, I have to give her a lot of credit because she turned that cover into something amazing, and it had no resemblance to that from the original images. The um, the picture of the heroine on the cover, that fur vest that she's wearing, I think was completely like add-on afterward. And that awesome sword is like an extra. It was all kind of put together and customized to match the story, and they did a really, really, really good job.
Yeah.
So when you picture your main character as the girl on the cover.
Um, it's a pretty good match to what I had in mind. I think that the actual picture of Greta in my head is still a little different, but she's got a good match in that cover model. So I'm happy with it. But then again, everybody is gonna find something different that they want to see in the character. So I'm not big fan on being real specific on the covers because everybody wants to imagine it differently.
Right. Right.
Where did you get the inspiration for this story?
I started out trying. I wanted to try and do a twist on the fairy tale. I think when I started writing this, the fairy tale retellings were just kind of starting to become popular, and we were seeing movies like the Snow White movie and that Little Red Riding Hood movie. But I wanted to do a different one that hadn't been done before, or at least hadn't been done very often. And I I kind of latched onto that story of Hansel and Gretel, and I thought that maybe that oven that the witch pushes them through was really not to kill them, but to take them to somewhere new where they would have an adventure.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I like that too. So how long have you been writing? This isn't your first book, is it?
It's my first YA book.
Okay.
Um, it's my first book um, as Chloe Jacob. I also write romance, uh, adult romance under a different name. So I think technically this is about my 10th book.
Oh wow, okay. And your first YA, was it easier or harder for you to write YA since this is a brand new genre for you?
It was really hard. I didn't even think it would be that hard, but it really was because it's such a different um, mindset. You really think about the story differently when you're writing it with a YA voice in mind.
Mhm.
And it
Were
took
you
me a
kind of
little while to really figure that out, I think.
Were you kind of like, writing a scene and you're like, wait a minute, okay, this is a little too risque. Gonna have to cut it down a little bit.
It wasn't so much the theme of the scenes, more the feel of the scenes. Um, just trying to approach them from a direction that felt honest and realistic. If I was, you know, you know, 5 years younger and I was a teenager again, because it's only been 5 years, I swear, and that's not true at all.
Oh,
So there's a
well, you could
Twitter
have fooled
question.
me.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I said, well, you could have fooled me.
The
You look
braces give it away, I think.
But we do have some questions from Twitter.
Yeah, go for
Redraw
it, Katie.
Redraw Dream asks, what made you decide to become a writer?
I've been writing pretty much as long as I could read. I think from the moment I picked up a book, I wanted to write books. I wrote a little bit in high school for those high school competitions, and I wrote a little bit for my university journal. Uh, but then after that, you get caught up in working, and I was getting married and I had a baby, and at that point I found myself kind of at a place where you're staying at home in the night because your kid is in bed and you can't go out, and there's really nothing on TV anyway. No, I started writing again around that time, and I remember when I did finish my first book, my husband asked me, what are you going to do with that now? And I didn't know, but I figured it out.
We're glad that you did.
Yes.
So,
It,
what made you? Oh, I think we already asked that question. So did you learn anything from writing this book? And if you did, what was it?
I learned that I did. I learned a ton, especially from this book because it was so different from what I've always written before. Um, but I learned that I tend to I tend to go overboard, and I need to dial myself back, and that's where my editor comes in. But I learned a lot about the feel of a story and how important it is not that every word be perfect, and not that um, every plot point has to connect all the time. I learned that the feel of a story is really important. How it makes the reader feel, how it makes the the book as a whole feel.
Hmm.
I'm making no sense.
No,
It
no,
does. It makes sense.
yeah. Uh, if you could be best friends with one of your characters, who would it be?
It would definitely be Wyatt. And Wyatt is one of those characters who he kind of sneaks up on you, and you don't realize how much he's gotten under your skin until it's way too late. But he's that he's that always there for you, reliable guy who um, you can overlook if you're not careful. But if if you look around your shoulder and you need somebody, he's always going to be the one who's there.
I like that. That'll be my pick too then.
Definitely, that's a really good quality for a friend for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have a Twitter question from Loronic, and that is, if you could meet any character in literature, who would it be?
Any character in literature. I don't know.
Come on, there's
I
only
mean,
a few to
I'm a
choose
huge
from.
I'm a huge fan of the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. I guess if I could meet Jamie, I would be over the moon.
Yeah. What qualities do you like in that character?
He's he's so devoted to the heroine, and that kind of devotion. I mean, it spans different times, it spans countries, it spans war, it spans like everything, and that kind of devotion is so inspiring. And I know it's just a fictional character,
Mhm.
but he's one of those characters who sticks in my head when I think about the books that I've read.
Yeah. You know it's a good book when that happens. I always have characters floating around in my head depending on what I'm doing throughout the day.
Sorry, the dog is wanting to play right now.
Oh.
It's not the right time, but she's
Yeah, let's see the little puppy.
Oh, cute. She's so cute.
yeah, she wants to play.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Okay, so what do you do in your spare time now that
I play
you're
with the dog.
of non-books?
In spare time, well, I have a full-time day job still, so I work full-time, and I come home. Um, I like to spend time with my son. Um, I like to do lots of reading. I also I make stained glass.
Oh, that's really cool.
Awesome.
Around this time of year, I get started. I make little Christmas ornaments and things for friends as gifts. And that's pretty much the extent of my creative energy. When it's not going into books, it goes into stained glass.
Well, so I have 3 questions for you.
Mhm.
They're all about teams. Okay. So number 1, are you Team Edward or Jacob from the Twilight series?
Can I be Team PETA?
No, that's the second question. So you're undecided for the Twilight?
um, I I would be undecided. I don't know that I'm qualified to answer that one.
Okay. So the second question was Gale or PETA, so we got that down. Your team PETA. And then the third is Jace or Simon from the Mortal Instrument series.
That would have to be Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definite Team Jace, especially after seeing the movie.
Yes. Oh my God. You know, honestly, I was Team Simon, but then once I saw the movie, I'm like, okay, Jace can have my love.
Yeah.
I do like Jake, and I love PETA.
Yes.
I am in love with PETA.
Are you gonna see I'm guessing you're gonna see the second Hunger Games?
Yes, and I heard it's in IMAX. I'm very excited about that.
Ooh.
I am too. I can't wait. I loved the books.
Mm-hmm.
And my son is 11, so tomorrow night we are apparently going to see Ender's Game.
Oh, I hear it's really good.
Yeah. So I have the graduated levels of books and movie involvement because my son is 11, so he's at that age where he likes science fiction, so Doctor Who, Ender's Game, and superheroes.
Thor.
Thor, definitely Thor. And then my husband likes all the action stuff, and I get to kind of sneak in the odd YA book or movie, and some of the, I want to see that new one. It's called, I forget what it's called, but it's basically another time travel movie, and by the same people who did Love Actually.
Yep, I know the one you're talking about.
Time.
The British
That's what
movie.
it's called. In
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
I think,
And
yeah.
I am trying to convince my husband that it's an action movie. You should go see it.
Good luck. Don't show him any
No
commercials.
previews. We're just gonna go. You'll love it.
So, speaking of movies, what is your favorite book turned movie?
I don't know. I find most of the books turned movies are a little disappointing, actually,
Yeah.
most of the time. But you know what? I was pretty impressed with the first Hunger Games movie. I have to admit.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Katie, any questions?
Yeah. So what's your daily routine? Well, I mean, you already kind of said that. That was a Twitter question, so I wanted to get it in there. But you did mention that you work and then come home and spend time with your family. So we'll go to the other Twitter question.
My writing routine is
Oh, there. That'll
my writing routine is kind of, I have to turn off the internet basically. When I finally get done with the daily stuff and I sit down to write, I have to physically unplug the router, so I cannot press the little button on my computer that still lets me go on the internet.
Mhm.
Because if I can press the little button, then I'm screwed. But if I have to get up off my chair and walk upstairs and plug it back in, then I might actually do some writing.
That is a really good idea. I think I need to
Okay.
incorporate that when I'm writing papers.
And I always write. I always write for a word count. So I sit down and I say I need to get so many words. And once I've done that, I can take a break. And if I still need, more words for the whole day, my break has to be short and I have to get back to it. But once I've met my word count for the day, I don't often keep going. And I know that sounds really bad, like I don't enjoy what I do. Because I do. I love to write, and I would write all the time if I could. But I find that if I've made my word count for the day, I purposely stop because it gives me the breather and it makes me feel excited to get back to it the next day.
Mhm.
So,
Do you feel like
what,
you develop, so sorry.
go ahead, go ahead.
Do you feel like you develop more ideas that way? Like when you take a break, you can think about the story more and kind of form different plots in your head?
I definitely feel like if I make myself stop, then I haven't exhausted my creative energy. It's still
Mm.
brimming in the background, even though I'm not sitting in front of the computer anymore. And so, yeah, um, I definitely continue to get inspired throughout the evening and until I get a chance to sit back down to the computer again.
Oh,
Okay. And so, what are your goals as a writer?
I I just want to keep writing better books.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm pretty simple that way. I don't need to be a New York Times bestseller, although that would be really great. But I want to just keep getting better and write better books, and I want to hear from people to know that they enjoyed them.
Mm. What do you think is the easiest thing and the hardest thing about writing?
The easiest thing is that first idea. I mean, ideas will pop into my head all throughout the day, no matter what I'm doing. I can look at something and be like, "Oh, we could we could do something there." But the hardest part is taking that little idea and making it into an idea that would sustain a whole book.
Mm.
So knowing when an idea is just kind of a cool idea, but you can let it go, and knowing when that idea is something that will really um, inspire like a 90,000 word novel is the tricky part. And of course, um, writing is hard. That's also a pretty hard part.
So you don't think, I know some authors say sometimes the hardest part is sitting down and writing it. Is that, maybe a harder part, or is that one of the easier parts for you?
Um, it depends. I tend to get uh, spurts where every part of writing seems like pulling out my hair hard. And that's usually when I'm just overtired. And then I have other moments when I like I said I could write for days and days and days, and I have to force myself to stop. But for me, the hardest part is plotting it out, is making that idea, um, of, making that idea into a book.
Mm.
Because I could be a pantser and just kind of wing it, and then the story would be 5 or 6 different ideas woven together that probably makes no sense. But the plotting it out and making sure it's cohesive and making sure it makes sense, that's the hard part for me, because otherwise I would just go all over the place.
Right, and we have a Twitter question from Tween to Teen Books. Do you participate in the NaNoWriMo?
I
I've
have
heard. Do you know what? Is that how you say it? NaNoWriMo?
Yeah.
NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month.
Yep.
Right, that's it. So do
And
you participate in that?
I have. I have participated in it for the last 5 or 6 years. Not consecutively. I think I missed it last year, and I might have missed it, a couple years before that. But almost every year I managed to take part. And this year I'm not formally doing it because I have a lot of edits on my plate right now. But I'm kind of there in spirit because I have a lot of writing to do too. But I don't think I'm going to get 50,000 words, that's for sure.
What is your
So
favorite?
what are you working on right now? Oh,
Pardon?
sorry.
Oh, that's
I
okay.
said, what are you writing right now?
Well,
What are
right
you
now
working
I'm
on?
alternating between edits for the second Greta book and uh, contemporary adult romance that I'm working on. But the second Greta book is called Greta and Glass Kingdom.
And when is that going to come out?
I have it on kind of good authority. I don't know how written in stone it is, but um, I'm told it's coming out in August.
Very exciting.
Yeah, this is so exciting. We
I'm
have time
actually
for one more question. Katie, take it away.
What are you currently reading?
What am I currently reading? I'm currently reading The Dream Thieves
Mm-hmm.
by Maggie Stiefvater.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that's
And next on the list is the Stephen King Doctor Sleep.
Ooh, those are some
nice.
good ones.
And then what else have I got?
Okay, so we're nearing the end of the chat, which means I'm now going to tell everybody about the giveaway that's going to happen. Yay, giveaway! So Chloe here is very kind and going to give away her book, Greta and the Goblin King, internationally. And so what you have to do in order to be eligible to win is to subscribe to us, Ray K Books. This live chat is going to become a YouTube video. So when it becomes a YouTube video, I will tweet out the link, and so will Chloe. You comment on the video, you subscribe to our channel, and extra points if you follow Chloe on Twitter. And when you comment and you follow her, put your Twitter name into the comments so I can verify that you did that for the extra points. So that will end next Friday. So thank you so much, Chloe, for tuning in, for letting us talk with you. It's been so much fun.
Well,
Yes.
thank you. I had a good time.
Yes, and
Nice way to spend my Friday evening.
I hope so. I hope so. And thank you, Katie, as well. It was always a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and I will see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.